Alright guys, I'm back in the gym, and tomorrow, Saturday, is 10 weeks away from the West Coast Classic, the first NPC show that I'm going to be doing. And today I'm training triceps and biceps. You'll see from the gym it's pretty empty. It's about 9 o'clock at night, so it's a late one for me, but I will show you what I have post-workout after. Anyway, triceps to start with, and a couple of warm-up sets, rope pull down, 20 reps, not too heavy, just to kind of work around the joint, and then move on to the first exercise. Alright, so the first main exercise that I'm doing for triceps after the warm-up is a close grip bench. This is a new one that I've added in for this pre-contest workout, and really just not a mass builder, but that's what it is. Keeping it big first of all, and hands about 10-12 inches apart so I can keep the elbows nice and tight and really get that big, large head of the tricep working. It's the warm-up done. Now let's start to progressively overload, and still sticking with that 10 rep max. You know, I'm not going up 15, 12, 10, 8 reps. I'm staying consistent at that 10 reps and then just overloading, incorporating, as always, a rest pause or drop set to enable those final 10 reps. So even though I'm dieting and my calories are around about 2,700 at the moment, a split of, it's about 45, 35, 15, something like that, so quite low fat. I'm still keeping my carbohydrates relatively high, 300 plus grams a day, basically so that I can continue weight training with some intensity. May not be as strong as I was a month or two ago, but I'm still taxing my muscles and overloading them enough so that they can absorb all of basically the glycogen from the carbohydrates post-workout and throughout the day. So that's my trick, is keep the weights heavy, keep the sets and the reps the same as when you're lifting like off season, and certainly don't change for higher reps and lighter weight. Right, first of the techniques, a little rest pause. Maximum load got to 8 reps. Aiming for 10, so short break, 15, 10 seconds, back down. Let's get those final 2 reps. I'm good with this one. Let's move on now and focus on more the long head of the tricep. Do some lying skull crushes. So skull crushers or a lying French extension, whether you're doing it with a straight bar, an easy bar, a dumbbell, or you've got a bench up against a cable pulley, and you're doing it from kind of reverse with the bar and the cable. It's a great exercise to really get the outer head of the tricep developed. With this one, you'll notice instead of having my arms kind of at a right angle, have them pulled back slightly. Let's get a deeper stretch as I take the bar back instead of to the hairline to kind of the top of the head. Of course, as it gets harder, I need to put it back in line and stick to technique. So even if you do go a bit too heavy and you fail before you hit your rep range, even that last negative where I stood it back up and then slowly controlled the resistance down, is still beneficial. Same as if you have a spotter, they can lift it back up, focus on that negative or the eccentric phase of the lift. Drop set now, so I'm going to strip off about 30% of the weight. It's my last set here. Got about 5 reps, so at least another 5 to go. Alright, moving on, and I will say here, apart from being weaker because of the lack of carbohydrates, it's also later at night, so my body has now used up all of its stored glycogen, and I'm not even halfway through the workout, and I'm already pretty depleted. So when I'm dieting, I'll try and do my weight training mid-afternoon, fuel up with glycogen in the morning, and then get some carbs back in me, at least for the last 2 meals. This show coming up in just over 10 weeks is my 22nd show I've done. First show was back in 2005, natural bodybuilding. And what's funny is, out of all the shows I've done, my training has pretty much stayed the same. I mean, I've got a little bit bigger over the years, weights have gone up, but the same kind of principles, the fundamental exercises have remained the same. The only thing I've changed, things like grips, rest, pause, my diet's been pretty consistent over the years too. It's just consistency, and that's really what I tell anyone looking to make good gains, is to be consistent, progressively trying to work a little bit harder, and keep a workout book, an exercise log, a nutrition journal, just so that you can see that consistency. So, tricep push down here, last exercise, late at night, and then move on to biceps. That's triceps pretty much done. It's 9:30 p.m. at night. I'm already a meal behind, so I'm gonna kind of hurry through biceps. Just 2 main exercises for biceps. Side note about the competition, I'm actually coming in probably at my fullest and heaviest this year. Last year, if you've been following me, I was about 178 pounds on stage, low body fat, let's call it. This year, I'm already at about 184 pounds, and I still got 10 weeks to go. So even if I can gain just 2 or 3 pounds of lean muscle mass and come in at the same conditioning, it's going to have a big overall impact on my physique and that proportion, the conditioning on stage. And I am doing the male physique category and not the bodybuilding. So with that said, let's move on and switch over to the front of the arms. Today I'm starting on easy bar curls, and the reason for that, as opposed to a straight bar or an Olympic bar, is just to give my workout some kind of variance. Easy bar curl, keeping a neutral grip and elbows slightly angled outwards. Therefore, when I lift, I'm working, let's say, a little bit more of that kind of outer portion of the bicep head, and then later on when I work around with some dumbbell work, isolation, I can hit a little bit more of the inner bicep. So last few exercises, kind of polishing off isolation exercises or finishing off exercises for the bicep. Keeping biceps a short exercise on this one, so many reps as I can. I might do a drop set, strip set, and we've got one more exercise after, and I'll do some isolated dumbbell work with rotation. So even if you are dieting, cutting up, getting ready for a show, photo shoot, whatever it might be, if you're on that kind of descent down where you want to lean up, don't forget those techniques like eccentric, the negative part, even using a spotter to get a few spot reps on the final few. Rest pause, strip sets, still work heavy within your 10 rep range. Your training shouldn't change. If you're dieting, calorie control, add a bit of cardio in, but don't change the weight training. At least that's what's worked for me all these years, so I'm sticking with what works. Anyway, let's rack the weight back up and move on. Single arm, kind of preacher curl with the dumbbell. One of my favorite exercises for arms, purely because I can have this rotation in, so I'm aiming for 10 reps. Try and keep it as strict as possible. Of course, I'm at the end of the workout, so it's not always going to be the case, but last 3 or 4 reps, add a rotation in, hit the peak there. So it's only a very slight rotation. If that's a kind of a standard single arm concentration curl or preacher curl, all I'm doing is coming up like a 10 degree rotation outwards, just to pull in that peak a little bit more and kind of force the muscle contraction. It's only a very, very slight change in the position, but it really does make a difference on those final few reps when we're kind of calling on and recruiting all of those type 2B, the growth fibers, in. Not bad workout considering it's pretty much 10 p.m. at night now. And I'm still post-workout meal and another meal away, so I might have to skip that final meal and just call it a day. But speaking of post-workout, let me grab my bag. I'm going to take you guys out to my car and actually show you what I have for post-workout and what I call my second post-workout, which is kind of a smaller solid meal, 30-40 minutes after, to again hit that anabolic window about an hour post-workout. So let's go. Alright, so I'm back in the car after the gym, and this is really just to show you what I eat and take post-workout. If you've been following any of my past nutrition, you'll usually see me have like a protein shake and some simple sugars as my post-workout, and then my second post-workout is more a solid meal. So at this stage of the contest prep, 10 weeks out, I'm doing everything by the numbers. Got a nutrition chart here. I've got it on my phone just to keep me reminded all the time, but if you go to my blog, Rob Richards Fitness, or you can find it on robrichards.com, you can actually see what I'm eating, how much and when, and actually see how much protein, carbs and fats. So even though I've got everything pre-measured out, I can see my post-workout that I've got in here. Protein shake, I've actually got beef protein in here. I've switched from using whey protein. I just find that beef protein it just absorbs better digestion. And no, it doesn't taste like beef. It's not the best tasting one, but it's a pretty good one. So I've actually got about 25 grams of beef protein in here, and also glycamase, fast-acting kind of modified starch, waxy maize starch or Vitago, very similar. 40 grams of that in here, and that actually gives me a total of 22 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs. So I'm also adding in some other sugars, and this is where it starts to get kind of interesting. I've got like 5 half dates here. So the sugars that I get from that, more fructose combined with the glucose from this and the whey protein, is what I have immediately after my workout. It's a pretty small meal just to stop the onset of any kind of muscle wastage. And then for after that, it's not really a meal, but it's just a solid food that I would then have. And again, protein and carbs, if I can get this one out. Got some pre-cooked chicken here, very small. I'd eat this about 30 minutes after. And I've actually got some MCT oil on there too, about a tablespoon. And this gives me a total of, again, 22 grams protein, 45 grams carbs, and I've got about 7 grams of fat on the carbs. This is really great after weight training. It's a small amount of yam. It's about 120, 140 grams of yam. I got a teaspoon of raw honey on there and some cinnamon. So this gives me a nice kind of double hit of sugars, but a little bit slower releasing as opposed to the glycamase. So again, a little bit more tricky than just having a protein shake with some carbs in there, but at this stage, and if you've seen my blog, you can see how I break it down and why. So as always, keep following me, Twitter at Rob Richards, and also on the website robrichards.com. And as always, you'll see all my videos right here on YouTube. I'll see you later.